He posts his thirst traps in a leather-bound album. His DMs have postage. He gets the early bird special anytime he wants. If you call him, he'll answer the phone. He doesn't have gray hair. He has wisdom highlights. Florida wants to retire and move to him. He's Gary.
And I'm your first Golden Bachelor.
It's your
Welcome to episode 1 of the Golden Bachelor recap by Jamie and Stephanie of The Ugly Truth. Okay, we're so excited.
So excited.
Episode 1 has aired.
It's been a few days.
Yes,
but
and
just.
I had to digest everything.
I watched it today.
I watched it last night.
I watched it this morning because I was like, I want it fresh in my mind.
Yes, I watched it last night.
I wanted to be sober.
Yes.
I was.
So, here's my first thought on it. First of all, I have watched The Bachelor before. I watched Bachelor in Paradise, which is completely different.
Mm-hmm. And just for the sake of listeners, I've never watched any episode of any season of anything.
This. But I gave you the
prior to the show, Jamie gave me a whole thing of how
Yes.
the show works. So I do understand it.
Now you understand.
But I do probably have a different viewpoint
Completely
of the
different
show
take.
because I've never, ever watched it.
So my main opinion on The Bachelor, specifically The Bachelor, is I do not understand the idea of 20 amazing women competing over any man.
Agreed.
I don't understand it. I would never do it.
I think that's why I never watched it.
I just don't get it.
I was like, I would never do this.
I would never. It's like, you pick me or I'm out. Like, this is dumb. I'm not competing.
Though after your explanation of the show,
Yes.
then that part of it, the part where they are all somewhat selling themselves for other reasons to be on the
Exactly.
show, I get that part.
Now, this is
They're
such-
Instagram models,
Yes.
blah, blah, blah.
They have businesses,
They have
whatever.
businesses, whatever the
They
case
could
may
be
be.
actors.
It's exposure.
It's
period.
exposure, and it's a big time exposure.
Correct. Right.
So
get that.
the goal would be to stay on as long as possible.
Right.
But
Well, you
not-
want to be memorable.
But not win.
Potentially,
Maybe.
I mean, but I definitely understand.
You want to be memorable for
why
sure.
why it's so competitive.
Yes.
because it's not necessarily the end goal is not necessarily to get him.
That's right.
But you want to stay on the show so that you are now the one that you can. It's almost like Top Chef. You like once you become
Yes.
a part of the Bachelor family.
Yes.
They'll bring you on like All Stars and all these other spin-offs or whatever.
Yes.
People will know who you are.
So I was preparing a meal last night when I said I'm going to watch it, and so I had it on, and Daryl was in his office doing something, and he heard him talking about his wife who has died.
Jamie.
So I am weeping.
Okay, thank you. Because
So-
I was like, by the way, I kind of knew what the show was. Now I know much more.
Yes.
But I was very grateful for that introduction portion of it, especially particularly with this, because of the age of these people.
Yeah, he's 71.
Yeah, what I figured out, and I'm sure we'll get into it, is every single lady is at least 60.
She's over 60.
but not younger than 60.
And I appreciate that.
Same.
Well, he probably said, I don't want a child. I
Well,
want
and not
my
only that, but
own
we would
age."
knowing men the way we do, I know it's going to be one of the younger ones.
So I'm watching this, and I'm like trying not to cry, and Daryl comes out. He goes, what is going on in here? He couldn't hear me, but he could hear the TV.
Right.
And I go, what do you mean? He goes, what is happening? I go, basically, they have recreated the first 7 minutes of Up, the movie. He's talking about his high school sweetheart. They had an amazing but average life. He retired, and the second we retired, nothing went well. She died quickly, and he is ugly. He's
like
ugly,
a month.
and he's
Yeah.
ugly crying.
They were married for 43 years.
43 years. And Daryl turns to
And
me.
it sounds like they had an amazing marriage.
They did. And he turns to me. He goes, how long has she been dead? I go, 6 years. He goes, he ain't going to find love on this show. He's still crying that hard. No.
Yeah, he was ugly crying.
And I said, all I know is that I'm devastated for him. He has a picture of his wife in his room.
that was so sweet.
And I'm like, what are we doing?
that won't last. I think that
It's-
was part of the intro.
But here's the thing. It's exactly like the first 10 minutes of Up.
Okay, agreed.
They have built this up like this is a loving, loyal man who lost the love of his life, but it's been
And the
6
only
years.
reason he's doing this.
And he's alone, and he's like, I don't want to be alone anymore. And I'm like, good for you. And his children are like, Dad, do it.
Do it. You're 71. Why you don't have that much time left.
Exactly. So in that aspect, I'm like, you know what? Good for him. And he seems like a fairly humble, loving, kind individual.
Totally. Well, I'm sorry. If you're a man and you have 3 daughters and you were married for 43 years,
Yes.
you're not an asshole.
No, you're probably pretty good.
You're probably
in
a
the
good
scale
dude.
of men.
Yeah.
So I'm, of course, immediately like, I just want to see these women.
Right.
Let's get to the women immediately, right? And there's so many of them.
Well, wait, before you go on, and
Oh,
Jamie explained everything to me about the show,
Yes.
so we didn't have to rehash that. But what I
Right.
do want to know
Yeah.
is, are the men that are the bachelors, are they generally wealthy? Are they,
No.
or does it matter?
It doesn't.
Because I was trying to figure that out with him.
Well, they tend to be successful, and they're never going to bring someone who is going to be a pauper,
right.
because you're basically asking a woman to be with someone who they should have money together. Like there should be something.
Right.
But
Because I did notice a lot of the women were
women are-
quite successful.
Exactly. So finances, I think, is a key.
Yeah. A requisite.
I'm sure some are more successful than
Right.
others, but
so
I
it's not like they're rich automatically out of the gate. These guys
No.
are wealthy.
no. But I think
Okay.
he's probably comfortable.
Yeah. Okay. I just didn't know if that was part of the show. If that
No,
was
they
like a
don't-
premise to
they-
be like, you have to be rich.
They don't mention finances actually
Okay,
at all,
all right.
interestingly. So anyway, so now the women, and initially, in past bachelors, they show up one at a time. I didn't realize. So they had them all in a limo, a few limos.
Yes.
And so they're coming out one at a time. And
Except for the one on the motorcycle.
they all want to be memorable. That's the goal.
Right.
Is you want to leave an impression so that he wants to give you another chance.
Right.
And so
Well, they want to stick out in his mind, right?
there were a couple that immediately I went, oh, he's going to have a
A thing for them.
thing for them immediately. Some were a little surprising. I didn't expect. Kathy is going to be trouble. I can already tell.
She's like, I was laser focused on him, trying to do you remember my name? It's Kathy.
Yeah, Kathy's going to be an issue.
like,
Also, where is she? She's the one that got the first. Okay, so Sylvia got sent home.
Sylvia.
Look,
yeah.
she's at
Oh
the
yeah.
bottom of
She
our
had
grid.
She had longer hair. Right.
She was a dud. She was a dud. I wanted her to
God,
go.
she didn't even look like that, did she?
Well, like she has Bell's palsy. Yeah. And then the other lady,
Jamie.
Renee, who was a cheerleader and wore a tracksuit.
She was an idiot.
What a fool.
God damn it. I was like,
Who
what are you
told her to
doing?
do that?
And by the way, she was very pretty.
She is pretty, but she really
But she just blew her intro.
she did that wrong. Now
So
I will
wrong.
currently now things will change dramatically
Yeah.
as the season goes. Faith is clearly number one.
She is.
She's the one that played the guitar.
She did.
But here's the thing, and I told Daryl this because he was riveted. He was
So
watching,
did he watch?
He watched the entire thing.
Oh, okay, cool.
So he goes, now this is something I might watch. And so, because he doesn't like reality TV at all.
Right. No, I get it.
But I said, Faith is number one right now. And you know why? He was the only one, his face changed.
he did.
There was a
He
look
was
in his
so
eye.
into her.
He's like, wow, you're looking at me so deep. She goes, well, what's the point otherwise?
Right.
And I'm like, that face, I've seen that face on Daryl when he looks at me. That is next level interest.
Right.
So I think Faith is a top, and she did get the rose for the night.
She did. She got the what is it? Most interested rose or
Most impression left.
first impression rose.
First impression rose.
That's
So
what
she
it was
got
called.
that. There's one, I think is it April? Yes. Okay.
April was the one that had the calendar.
The chicken lady.
No,
She brought eggs.
I'm not doing it with
Why?
her. She was the one that she just. I'm sorry. This now I give these women credit because this would be very difficult. I could never do this. All right, because you can't. Men do not like desperate women.
She reeked of it.
She reeked of desperation.
stunk.
So I don't know if she's
Smell.
desperate. It's awful.
She can't wash that stink off either.
No, and so I don't think she's a serious contender. I do think that Leslie is a serious contender.
Let me see, Leslie.
She was
Oh,
very
motorcycle girl.
I thought that was Faith.
Faith came on.
Oh no, you're right.
no.
Leslie was the motorcycle
Leslie-
girl, and
yeah.
I when she first came, I thought it was stupid, but no, I thought Leslie was the one that got the first impression rose.
Leslie got first impression.
Yeah, because remember he said it's not because you pulled up on a motorcycle, and he goes, and it's not because he said some other reason why it wasn't. He said it was because of. I cannot remember what he said the reason was.
Leslie's the fitness instructor who was doing fitness under a bridge on her thing.
I'm almost 100% positive, Leslie. Now we're terrible at the show already.
I will tell you what. Okay, so Susan, who looks like basically looks like Kris Jenner.
She does. She has a great smile.
She's great.
But she's not it.
Here's the thing.
I already know she's not it because I hate that I didn't spoil it for myself, but on the trailer after the episode was over.
Yes.
And it showed him walking off into the sunset with somebody. Whoever it was had her hair up in a bun and it was long.
Oh, so they were doing like a trick to say
unless they trick us with the editing.
There is absolutely no way he picks Susan.
He's not picking Susan.
No way. My name is not Susan.
She's too big.
She's a tall gal.
She's tall. Men like petite women.
Yeah, so Leslie might be more of a contender than I realized.
She is.
So these are the women who went home. Anna, Pamela, who was absolutely flummoxed that she was sent home. She was like, I don't understand. And I'm like,
yeah, she was the one that had that look on her face like, what?
She was shocked and appalled. Patty went home.
I'm not surprised. Your hair's too short, Patty. You can't.
Patty looks like Celine Dion.
She does. I mean, she was slim and elegant.
Honestly, she was a beautiful lady, but they just didn't have a connection.
No, and I'm sorry, the spiky hair, gray look is just not. No, I mean, call me a stereotype, but I'm sorry. Men, even though I appreciate the fact that they are having him date women of his own age appropriate women.
Yes.
They are always going to think about somebody youthful and young when it comes to being attracted. So
she also,
you can't have short, gray, spiky hair.
You know why she looks like that, Stephanie? She's a real estate agent.
There you go.
And that's exactly what they look like.
It's clean and it's a smart look.
It's a smart look with a suit.
Men don't want to see smart looking hair.
Maria was sent home. She was boring.
Yeah,
Maria was uneventful. Renee,
in fact, I didn't even remember her.
I barely remembered her as well. In fact, when she was getting the lineup, I'm like, I don't know who you are. You're like filler. Renee, the cheerleader, went sent home, and she was sad, but it was like she played that so wrong.
She did.
And then Sylvia was sent home. Bell's palsy girl was sent home, and that's fine. It's fine.
She's a public affairs consultant.
Whatever. She was not my fave.
No, she was boring.
Some of the surprises, you even said you were surprised that he had a connection with Natasha.
I was. Not because she's not.
She's very energetic.
She was.
And he loved that.
Ugly.
Well, his wife was not.
I know.
And I think that has something to do with it.
You're right. And you know what? That's me. That's a Ugg opinion.
Yeah. I mean, and then Sandra, not a fan of Sandra. She was the one using swear words when she was trying to
that was dumb.
And she's just like, let's close our eyes and take a breath. And I'm like, what are you doing?
I couldn't with the intro with her. Right away, I was like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, I was not a fan of Sandra. I actually like Natasha. She's youthful and very outgoing, and I think he's attracted to that.
Yeah.
I am not a fan of Kathy, and I predict that Kathy and April will be the villains of this season.
Yeah? Okay.
April is not my jam.
Well, I think Faith and Leslie are also going to be, I don't want to say villains.
I think they're the top competitors right now.
But I think I do. And I think that they have that edgy, very forward attitude, and they won't be afraid to
They're not afraid.
Speak their opinions.
I think the dark horse, I think Marina is a dark horse.
I don't.
You don't like her?
No,
she's too quiet.
She's next.
And is she too quiet?
No, here's the thing.
Wait, I didn't see anything.
She's Indian, and Indian culture is so traditional.
Yes.
That it is inbred in them. I don't care how westernized they try to be.
Yes.
Not all. I'm not generalizing.
No, you're not
Every single human on this planet
I know,
cannot be.
I know.
Okay. But I'm saying, generally speaking, they are so hardcore in their culture. It is just built in every fiber of their being. Mm-hmm. Being with a white man,
I see.
I just find it very difficult to believe. Especially at their age.
I do not know. I did not do a deep dive on every single woman. However,
I didn't either, to be
whoever
honest.
On this list is a widow is going to have an advantage.
I liked Ellen for him. I think they had a connection.
Ellen, is she a widow?
I don't remember.
I think that Faith and Leslie are widows.
Okay.
I think.
But I also liked Joan. She's one of the youngest of them all. And
I like Joan too.
And he liked Joan.
I do remember. He also said what he really liked is that when a smile hits their eyes, that was so sweet,
thing. Wasn't it?
And I think Edith is also one of them.
She was.
She was a sweetie.
She was.
There was actually no one I completely disliked.
I'll tell you. Go ahead.
I just saw that. I think that Kathy, Sandra, and maybe Natasha are there for, well, April for sure. They're there to be known.
Yeah, Kathy.
They want
I'll tell you why
notoriety.
he's not going to pick Kathy. Well, there's a bunch of
she
reasons.
looks like Caitlyn Jenner.
Not only
or-
that, but when they kissed for the birthday cake thing,
Oh yes.
she immediately stuck her tongue in his mouth.
And he's all. Did he do a butthole
I
mouth?
mean, I think he did his best, knowing they were on camera, to not revolt.
Well, I mean, he did eat the frosting.
No, he did, and it was actually he was the one that said, "If I put this on my face, will you clean it off for me?" So he made the first.
He had a sexual
He
connection
did
with her.
But I know men so well, even if they are the ones to put it out there, if you reciprocate that ferociously,
aggressively,
in his mind, he's like, slut.
a
she's not.
70-year-old slut.
In his mind, he's like, she's easy, you know?
Well, the thing is,
But-
that and she was the one who came up and said, "I want you to see my birthday suit." Remember? And she took off the thing, and it was
Thank
like
you.
a nude.
So her whole shtick
She's
is,
like-
let's fuck.
Yeah, we're trying to keep it clean. Remember?
We are?
Yeah, because this is the one where we're trying to keep
Oh.
it clean. Just saying. I'll have him beep it.
Well,
It's
so
fine.
her whole shtick
She's
edit.
gonna be like-
her whole shtick is let's do it.
she's going to be the sex contestant. She's
Right.
like, we have a
She's
sexual
selling her
connection.
body, yeah.
And it's like, because, sometimes you think, oh, all men are the same. They just want sex. And I'm like, no.
I mean, that's not always true, but it's truer when you're young.
Well, not only that, but here's the deal.
Because you haven't had enough opportunities to screw all the things you want to.
I-
By the time you're 71, you've sown your oats.
Well, not only that, but I mean, the thing is like, let's not act like the man's been, abstaining from sex for 6 years.
We
The
don't know that,
reality is
right?
He probably hasn't.
No.
He's
Look at
probably-
him,
he's
by the
probably
way.
taken lovers.
and have we talked about him? He is adorable.
He's so handsome.
He is gorgeous. He does not look his age.
I will say this though, when he was showing photos of his life prior to this show, they have definitely cuted him up.
I mean, come on.
He has.
You
he has-
wouldn't? I would.
He has a $200 haircut. He's in designer clothes.
Yeah.
He's got some kind of spray tan.
For sure.
I'm sure they leveled up his hearing aids
Everything,
because they're
everything.
they're top of the line.
Yeah.
And I like that one girl. I don't know who it was. She's like, "Oh, I have ear candy too." Because
That was cute.
I love that. I don't
So
know who that
sweet.
was. It might have
can't
been
remember.
Faith.
It was one of them.
It was one of the brown
One of
haired
the-
ones.
yeah.
And honestly, as we get closer to like a top 10, I will be more respectful of the women because I just don't know who they are.
Well, right. And not only that, but I mean, I think it's important now that
It's not being mean. I'm just like,
No, it's
I
not being
mean,
mean.
it's like cross-eyed lady.
But we don't know
whatever.
him either.
We don't.
And so the more we get to know him,
Yes.
the more we will know what his
Yes.
type is and what he really wants out of
Absolutely.
life. Right now, we just know
Yes.
he's this semi-heartbroken widower.
Yes.
Who has his children's support. He couldn't be cuter with all
He's
of that.
so cute. He's so cute.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see. Now, first responses to all of this, I think he's gravitating towards brunettes.
Right.
That's the first
His
thing.
wife was
His
her-
wife was a brunette.
Yeah, she was.
So he's gravitating. There are some blondes that he likes, but overall, it seems that his connections that we could see
That were obvious.
they were all brunette.
Correct.
So that'll be interesting.
Yeah. So he's got a type.
I wonder if all of them will kind of look. First of all, there's not one woman on here who hasn't had at least a Botox.
Oh, hell yeah.
They have so many fillers.
Would you not?
I would do everything.
I would do it all.
I will say this.
Short of a facelift.
This is the things that I liked about these women.
Wait, I have to say this.
What?
If I were going on this show, the
Yes.
one thing I've learned from the first episode is that I
Yes.
wouldn't do is wear anything sleeveless.
The
Stop it!
The matronly arms will give you away in a moment.
It just and I know they're probably like, we're embracing it. This is who we
fine.
are. Okay, fine, embrace it, but that doesn't mean you have to like flaunt it either.
Gonna have sleeves on everything.
Thank you. Yes.
Unless it's 1,000 degrees.
I mean, if he's gonna see me naked and I make it to the end, then
won't
he's gonna
care.
know all the things.
But on
There's
TV,
no hiding, but-
there's a couple of women who have okay arms. They're toned. Like Maria, what was her name? Patty, the real estate agent.
That was close. Maria Patty. Yeah.
The real estate agent with the short gray.
Yeah, she
She
did.
had an amazing body.
She really did.
Yes, and
she did.
also Kris Jenner does too.
Yeah. Did
Susan.
Peggy get cut or is she still on there? Peggy was the 69-year-old dental hygienist.
Peggy is still in the running.
Because Peggy's got quite a lovely smile.
Peggy is the most natural of all of them.
I agree. And she's 69 and she fucking doesn't look like it. Oops, did it again.
She's a dental hygienist.
Oops, I did it again.
She is
Yeah.
the most natural of them all. Now that
Yeah.
I'm looking at it,
She's
She is the
got
most
really,
natural.
really pretty skin.
All the other women have fillers in their cheeks.
Yeah.
And
Well, she
you
probably
can
has a
tell.
little of something because her forehead is awfully smooth for being
first of
almost
all,
70.
Botox is like taking a vitamin, in my opinion. Everyone should have Botox. That's
Absolutely.
fine.
Yeah.
But so it'll be interesting to see where he starts to gravitate.
I'm so excited about the things you told me about what the show does now after the intro, like these excursions and these dates.
Oh, yeah,
and
there's
I
gonna
mean,
be all
oh my God, I'm
kinds.
so excited.
So it'll be interesting once he starts handpicking for one-on-one dates. That's when the personalities start to come
for
out.
sure.
Now it's funny
and the
because
claws, I imagine.
some people are thinking, oh, this is going to be far more refined. These women they've lived life. They're not going to get into the petty drama that the 20-somethings do. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
I'm living for it.
Someone's going to go, do you know how hard it is to find an attractive, available man in your 60s and 70s
100%.
that doesn't look like a troll?
Right?
That doesn't look like a hobbit.
Thank
this
you.
man is like the promised land for all women.
Right?
And so they're going to be like,
Agreed.
if we even have a smattering of a smolder,
Yeah.
I'm going for it.
I would too.
Kathy's downfall is going to be pushing the sex act. She shouldn't.
She shouldn't. And maybe she'll do a 360 on us.
It minimizes her value. She
I
doesn't
agree.
have to do it.
And men don't like that.
They kinda
Unless
don't.
they're shallow and empty, and this guy doesn't come
First
off
of all,
that.
if a man is shallow and empty at 71, he's not dating someone age appropriate.
Thank you. He's gonna date a
sleeping-
40-year-old. Yeah.
He's dating someone
Absolutely.
young. So reality is that we'll see. The one thing I do appreciate is that he's made it very clear that he has an active sex drive. He's not acting like someone's grandpa.
No, he's not.
He is saying, I am sexually ready to be
Move on.
with someone, and I think he has, by the way. I don't think he's been a virgin for 6 years.
Oh, no,
I think that
not.
he's probably
dated or whatever.
Of course.
I mean, 6
That's-
years is a long
That's
time.
probably how he knows.
But I think the reason why they made sure that was very evident is because as women, and I'm guessing a lot of women watch this show.
Yeah. Although Daryl's all in.
Well,
so
right, and Jerry would watch it too if I could get his
it's
attention
so
for 5
interesting.
seconds.
I really want. I want some men's opinion on it because
Same.
I want them to see and go, oh, blah blah blah.
like from their point of view, which is so
Yeah.
different from ours.
I'm so curious. Like some of the women that got eliminated, he was not surprised. He's like, oh yeah, not surprised.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I mean,
So.
they're not all going to be your type, right? They're not
No,
all going to be your
no.
type. So anyway, yeah.
Anyway,
I'm
all
very
right.
excited about this.
I'm excited too. I
For
can't
many
wait.
reasons.
I wish that I hope, and I know it's probably not possible, but I sure would love to do this weekly because it changes so
Well, we'll
fast
do our
week to week.
best.
We'll do our best, but if we can't, we'll do a massive catch up.
Yeah.
every other week, and we're all in.
So do we
already-
know? I know we're at the end of the segment, but
Yes.
how many episodes, generally speaking, is this show? Is it long?
No, I'd say 10, 12 maybe.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I'm not sure. It's been a long time since I've watched The Bachelor.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, really?
Well, they've been garbage for a while. So
yeah.
it's just the people. Now, I will say this. You don't know this, so I'm going to say it now in case this is the first time anybody's ever watched The Bachelor. Generally speaking, what happens is at the end of The Bachelor, one of the women will end up being the first Golden Bachelorette.
Oh.
They usually handpick a contestant and then they reverse it. So one of these
Understood.
women could potentially be the first Golden
I am
Bachelorette.
living for it.
I hope they do it.
I do too. You know what? I love it because
But you would be surprised who they choose because it's usually someone who's been very notable and memorable that you may not have necessarily liked. Or they ended up being like the victim of politics on the show. Like they're like, oh God, they were so sweet.
same won't flee.
Exactly.
You know she's on a new show, right?
I freaking love Miss New York.
I haven't. Well, have you seen the new show she's on?
I've seen snippets.
Yeah, we'll talk
She's
about
great.
that on the regular show.
Anyway, so keep that in mind as well. Is
All
that
right.
some lovely lady?
So they have a lot going for them on this thing.
There's a lot. They could.
There's a lot at stake.
Yes, and I think that will be the surprise announcement at the end. They go, and we've decided to go the other way. And Patty,
And why wouldn't
is-
they?
Yeah,
Why
and, it's
wouldn't
usually,
they?
and the thing is sometimes you can see some of these women trying to make a ploy for being the Bachelorette.
Absolutely.
They're like, I don't really want to be with Jerry, but I definitely want to find my own man.
Well, I would love to be with Jerry, but
Well,
God,
of course, he's so handsome.
man is adorable.
Yes, we're too young for him, unfortunately.
I love older men, and he's
I know you
probably
do. He's not into it. He doesn't like you. You're like his daughter.
I don't know.
Well, considering the field here, I'm going to say he wants an age appropriate
That's probably
man.
NBC, but okay.
ABC.
ABC?
Yes.
Well, I watched it on Hulu. I don't know what network it was on.
I couldn't find it.
On Hulu?
No, I tried
Oh,
looking
immediately
for
was
it.
when I logged into Hulu. The first thing was The Bachelor.
I wonder if I waited too. Maybe I went on too soon. Maybe it wasn't.
Perhaps. But I'm watching it on Hulu.
Awesome.
You were right. That was an excellent suggestion because you do not have to watch any
No
commercials. I got
It's
through it. It
wonderful.
was amazing.
Yeah, so Hulu, or you can DVR it if you're an old person.
Yeah. I forgot. I'm not old and I DVR
No.
lots of things.
I DVR'd it.
I forgot to DVR it. I'm going to DVR
You know
it.
why I DVR'd it? Because I knew I would have to wait a little too long to stream it, because they wait quite a bit, like 2 days probably, to get on. It's not immediate. And
Well, I watched it today, so thank God
I
it was
couldn't
there.
find it
Maybe
yesterday.
that's why you, yeah.
Anyway, all right, Eric. Next
talk.
episode, the field will be cut in half again.
Can't wait.
There will be drama, and we will
So
have
excited.
more opinions. Thank you for listening. See you next time.
Bye.